Crusaders took a vow to visit the Holy Sepulchre, the place of Jesus' empty tomb. They also often took upon themselves vows of fasting, abstinence from sex, or other devotions. Upon taking the vow, a simple cross was sewn on their shoulder. Thus these pilgrim warriors came to be known as Crucissignati, or those signed with the cross. The terms Crusader and Crusade are modern names. While the Crusades had this good and noble purpose of defending Christians and pilgrims in the Holy Land, visiting the holy sites, and doing penance for sins, because they were taken up by human beings whose sin, both good and bad, came out of them. This is true for anything that we do. We can do good or evil, and sometimes we may want to do good, but make bad choices and sin. At St. Columbkille, we have taken the name of Crusaders because we want to imitate the good virtues of the medieval Christian Crusaders in the way we participate in our sports. But just like they did at the time of the Crusades, we can misuse a good thing. We should not conclude based on the sins of some of its participants that the Crusades were all bad, just as we should not conclude that sports are bad because sometimes some of us act badly when we play them. Instead, we can use the story of the Crusades as a way to reflect on our own participation in sports as a St. Columbkille Crusader, a disciple of Christ who has been signed with the cross from our baptism. Just as the Crusaders took a vow before leaving on their crusade, so too do we make a promise before we participate in sports at St. Columbkille. Players, coaches, and parents each sign a commitment to act as disciples of Jesus Christ while having fun playing, coaching, and watching our sporting events. For example, players promise to do their best to maintain appropriate behavior, treat each other, coaches, officials, and parents with respect and dignity, encourage and pray for their teammates, and give their best effort at practices and games. Coaches promise to begin and end practices and games with a prayer, reinforce positive behavior, place the well-being of their players ahead of their own desire to win, treat each player as an individual, emphasize effort, hustle, attendance at practice and games, sportsmanship and teamwork, and value effort and Christian attitude over winning. Parents are expected to encourage good sportsmanship by demonstrating positive support for all players, coaches, and officials at every game and practice, to place the well-being of their child ahead of any personal desire to win, to refrain from using abusive language and from contradicting or belittling coaches, officials, players, or other teams, and to remember that the athletic program at St. Columbkille Parish is part of the parish's effort to form disciples of Jesus. It is good to be reminded of these promises because just like some of the Crusaders who failed to live up to the vow they made, we can sometimes get caught up in wanting to win and forget what sports are supposed to be about.